I'm Sylvia Stoughton. I'm a very proud employee here at CAN-TV, and I'm thrilled this evening to be joined by State Representative Marcus C. Evans Jr., the 33rd District, my state representative. Hi, Representative Evans. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. CAN-TV.
Excellent, thank you. So, you are watching Political Forum for Wednesday, November 1st, 2017. That means that for the next 25 minutes, you're able to call in and ask Representative Evans any questions you may have about political happenings at the state level, get his opinions on what's happening here in Chicago locally. And of course, if you live in the 33rd District, feel free to give us a call and ask him what you want to know. Is that okay with you?
You can ask me anything. Just about.
Okay,
Yeah.
so before we keep going, a couple of housekeeping things. If for whatever reason while watching us you find that you have to get up, leave the room, go away, fear not, you are able to watch us online live. You can visit cantv.org/hotline. Again, that's cantv.org/hotline and check out the show there. So take your tablet, take your phone, and keep watching us. Also, if you are shy and do not wish to call into a television program, right, to get a hold of you,
Oh, yeah.
fear not, we have you covered. You can contact Representative Evans at his district office. That is 8539 South Cottage Grove Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. You can give him a call at 773-783-8492. You can shoot him an email at repevans33@gmail.com, or you can visit his website, staterepevans33.com.
You know what?
Okay. So, now that that is out of the way, you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
excellent.
you again.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us something we may not know about the 33rd District. And, feel free to tell us where you grew up, where you went to high school.
Morgan Park.
Yes, okay, so full transparency. Not only do Representative Evans and I live in the same district, we also attended high school together. So shout out to all the Morgan Park Mustangs. I know you're watching. Give us a call at 312-738-1060. Again, that's 312-738-1060. In particular, hello to the class of 2002 and 2003.
2003, you know what?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So yes, tell us about you.
All right, now that we got the important thing out the way that we went to Morgan Park, I am Marcus Evans. I have the pleasure of serving the 33rd District and, quite frankly, the entire state of Illinois as a state representative. So what that means is I go down to Springfield to represent you, to work with the governor, to work with the senators, to move the state of Illinois forward, to pass the laws, to get rid of some of the bad laws, and to create better laws to move the state forward. And, of course, to spend the state's dollars to allocate them appropriately to pay for the services to help the people of the state.
Okay.
It's the primary job.
Exciting. And anything cool we should know about the 33rd District?
Yeah, it was the greatest community in the state of Illinois. Clearly, we live there.
Really?
It's the southeast side of Chicago. When you think about Stony Island, you think about Yates, Jeffrey. I'm talking near CVS, Jesse Owens Park, the great southeast side of Chicago, the communities of Headwaters, the east side communities, the South Chicago communities, going all the way down to Burnham, Cal City, Lansing, Linwood, and Sauk Village. So I represent, again, the southeast side of Chicago and 5 south suburban communities, 5 great south suburban communities: Burnham, Cal City, Lansing, Linwood, and Sauk Village.
Excellent. Okay, so one more time. If you live in any of those amazing communities and want to get a hold of Representative Evans, please do feel free to do so by contacting his district office. The information is right there on the screen. You can give him a call at 773-783-8492. You can shoot him an email or visit his website. So, Representative Evans, you happen to be the chair of the House's Transportation Committee.
Yes, I'm in my 4th term down in Springfield. I've been there for 5 years. So I get the opportunity to chair a committee, and as your seniority rises, you get more of an opportunity to be influential. So I was appointed to the to chair the Transportation Committee. I think it's important because when you think about strategically where we are in the United States, we're in the middle of the country. And if you look, you think about all of the various railroads and trucking and all of the things that point to Illinois. We're close to Lake Michigan, so great waterway system. The state is adjacent to the Mississippi River. So we are a great strategic place as far as transportation. So I thought that was a great committee to chair to hopefully I can be a catalyst to strengthen transportation in the state of Illinois.
Okay, so I want to ask you this particularly about our district because,
Yeah.
there are a lot of tracks in the 33rd District.
For sure.
And a lot of those run through that Hegewisch neighborhood you just mentioned ago, near Torrance.
Without question, yeah.
Yes, now some of those trains, in fact, it was on the news last night, can sit outside and sit on the track for up to an hour and a half, holding up traffic. And as it stands right now, there's not a whole lot that the state can do about that, or the city can really do about that, because tracks are federally operated and therefore, federally regulated. So what can we do so we're not stuck sitting in traffic for an hour and a half?
What I would always say to anybody listening, government is a participatory thing. You always want to let your elected officials know when you're frustrated about something, particularly being stopped by a train.
I'm frustrated.
But the key thing is, it's good when you see those trains moving, because that's economic activity and commerce for the state of Illinois. So it's a good thing. But we do want to move a little freely within our roads. So what we need is more grade separations. So right now, all of our federal leaders, whether it be Congressman Rush, Congressman Davis, particularly Robin Kelly, they've been pushing for our CREATE project. So what CREATE is doing, it's a great, large federal transportation project, and they're putting in a lot of grade separations all throughout this region. We need to advocate for more of those, because grade separations really help the flow of traffic, and it gets folks from place to place. Again, we don't want to stop the great economic activity of train movement, because again, every train that you see, those are dollars, those are jobs. So I love to see trains, but at the same time, we want to get where we need to go. Because I've been stopped by so many trains, so we do need more grade separation. So again, contact me, because I want to have more conversations about how we can get better flow on our roads with regards to grade separations, and can get the funding that we need, to save time.
Okay, and there's that contact information again, if you also live in the 33rd District and want traffic to move a little bit more quickly. And just for those of us watching who may not be familiar, what is a grade separation? Is that like an underpass? Or?
Yeah, so, when you're driving on the road and you stopped at a train, like, give you an example, many of you all know where Trinity Church is located on 95th. It's right by a train, right by a railroad track. So train is coming, you have to stay there. But when you have grade separations, they'll either build an underpath or an overpath so that train can flow and that traffic can flow. And I think that's important for the future. More grade separations really help. They cost millions of dollars, so we always got to push for funding, and particularly federal funding.
Yeah, well, that sounds heavenly. And speaking of heavenly sounds, I see we have our first caller.
All right.
We're going to take that call. Hi, caller. Go ahead with your question for Representative Evans.
Yes, Representative Evans, I want to know, with the budget passed, what's the temperature like in Springfield in terms of capitalizing on momentum, where you had both sides of the aisle agree, and how can you capitalize on that to move forward and have an effective session upcoming?
Yeah, thank you, caller. Again, I appreciate the question. It's a great question. If you look at veto session, we had the opportunity to address many of the governor's vetoed bills, and we overruled a lot of bills, particularly one bill that we overruled nearly unanimously is a debt transparency bill that was pushed by our comptroller, Susanna Mendoza, all about knowing where our debt stands. And I think we are using that momentum. It's not about anti-Rauner. Right now, it's about productivity within the state of Illinois. And I think the Democrats and the Republicans are showing with this veto session, you all pay attention during veto session, we're addressing a lot of governor's vetoes. There's a lot of the bills in which the governor vetoed that we're not looking to override. We're only looking to override those bills that are going to make the state better. I think the temperature in Springfield has been great because we want to work together. We are the greatest state in the nation, and we want to show that in action. So thank you, caller, again. I think after this budget impasse, which created millions of dollars, almost billions of dollars in debt, we're going to move past that and get this state going where it should be, because it's the greatest state in the land for sure.
Okay. Thank you for that. And thank you again, caller. Now, if you are out there watching and you have questions for the representative, that number is right there on the bottom of the screen. That is 312-738-1060. Again, 312-738-1060. Now, moving on, because I have known you since high school, I also happen to know that you have a really great relationship with your mom. And shout out to Ms. Davis, because I know she's watching.
Yeah, hello, mother.
Hey, Ms. Davis. So, you have talked openly, to me and many people, frankly, about how that relationship with your mom has influenced some of the legislation that you have passed on behalf of working families. So do you want to talk a little bit maybe about some of those things you've done around education or health?
Yeah, and I think one thing about the state level is that there's a variety of issues. But I'll tell you, my mom was a teenage parent. You know, she was 17 years old when I was born, and we were far from far from rich. You know, we were working class. You know, and so her struggles and her working gave me a perspective I think that I take with me every day, but definitely take all of the perspectives that I receive from my mother and women like my mother throughout the city of Chicago. I take that with me to Springfield, and I think my focus is helping those individuals understand their struggle. If they're not looking for a handout, they're looking for a hand up, and I think we should do more of that in government. Seeing individuals like my mother was, and like so many young ladies out here, as assets. If we help those assets blossom, they'll really help the state of Illinois grow.
Okay, so we're going to get back to what you've done with education and health and families in the name of your mom in a moment, but I see we have a caller, so we're going to take the call.
All
Hi,
right,
caller.
caller.
Yep, go ahead with your question.
Yes, sir. I want the young lady. Yes, I wanted to know why, after working so hard, the African American and Hispanic to get the majority aldermen, okay, and yet, and yet, nothing has been done. If anything has changed, it's changed for the worse. I want to know how we can change all of this killing, and could it be the mayor or could it be the commissioners? But something has to be done because I'm tired. I can't even go outside. I fought in the Vietnam War, and listen, I felt safer there than I feel here in Chicago.
Yeah, serious.
Please do something about it. Thank you.
No, thank you. And I think I thank you, caller. I love the question. The caller is saying that we have these issues. Basically, Representative Evans is the representative for the state of Illinois. What are you doing? And I think, first of all, as a man, particularly as a black man in the city of Chicago, I'm always looking to mentor young brothers that I come across to encourage them to stay on the right track, to guide them. Locally, I'm going to be working on some things in my neighborhood. I'm a member of my block club. I like to just be involved in the day-to-day of my block. How can I make my block safer first? And I encourage you to do the same. Work locally to make your block safer. How can we help those individuals who need the guidance and help? And in Springfield, you know, it's giving opportunities. You know, crime is a social problem. You know, locking people up is not going to solve it. We tried that already. We have to address it in a more holistic fashion, giving folks opportunities, encouraging people. I think if I would say something to the caller, please don't give up because we're in this together. You know, we will reduce crime and eliminate crime in the city of Chicago, but it's a team effort. It's not to blame the alderman or blame the mayor because it's our issue to address. And I think we can do it if we remain with our endurance. So get your Red Bull, caller, and we're going to one by one help these individuals who participate in deviant activity, and we're gonna get that goal of eliminating crime. We can do it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you again for that call. If you have other calls, that number is still right there at the bottom of the screen, 312-738-1060. Again, that's 312-738-1060. So, Representative Evans, speaking of helping people who may, be likely to come in contact with the system, or who may have come in contact with the system, that's something that you have always been pretty passionate about. Can you talk about some of the work you have done to help returning citizens or people who are formerly incarcerated to get back on their feet and become productive members of society?
Yeah, and again, we can't hide from the fact that I'm a black man. I'm a black man from the real Chicago, South Side Chicago. I've seen violence, and I've seen in every aspect. I've seen individuals who've been incarcerated, friends and family of mine. So living that Chicago, a low-income black experience, I know firsthand what people need, which is generally opportunity and encouragement. Today I was speaking with a youth at the Department of Juvenile Justice, and encouraging those young brothers, many of them who eventually will be released from prison, and they'll be back in society, and we have to have opportunities for them because the majority of them want to do good. And I think government should not be an obstruction to success, but it should encourage success. Government should see individuals and people as assets. I want to use government for that. I passed a lot of bills. Majority of the bills that are criminal justice related, I support them. One of the bills that I've been championing since getting into Springfield is opening up licensing opportunities to individuals with backgrounds. If you made a mistake and you wanted access to be an accountant, to be a roofer, whether it is to get your CDL license, to be a truck driver, if you want to do the right thing, government should help you to do that. Because again, we want to turn people from being liabilities to being assets. And I believe we can do that with open opportunities. And I work with the Safer Foundation. I work with my colleague in the area, Representative Elgin Sims, and we really push to give, again, more opportunities for licenses. If you look at many of the top occupations that pay good money, and let's be honest, guys don't want to make minimum wage. They want a real income. So many of those opportunities that pay a true income require a license. So we want to make sure we remove any state obstructions to those opportunities to get guys working. And once we get them working, we can improve our communities and, again, improve families. That's what it's all about.
Okay, okay. So now, speaking of state obstruction,
Yeah,
I read an article this morning
yeah.
in the paper, I guess in the wake of everything that's happening in Hollywood, you know, around
Yeah.
issues of sexual harassment. There was a story that came out earlier today talking about that being a major, you know, problem in Springfield, which was surprising to me because you think these are, you know, agents of government.
Yeah.
And surely they're not having those problems there. But did you see the article, and what do you say, you know, about something like that?
Without question, I think we have to eliminate sexual harassment and just the unfair treatment of women. You know, when you talk about equal pay, when you talk about all of the various things that women deal with, and whatever women in general deal with, we know that black women deal with it even worse. So we have to address it. I think men have to step up and, first of all, stop sexually harassing women. You know, that's a big part of the solution. Men have to respect women in the workplace, treat them like human beings. I was raised by my mother and grandmother, strong women, so I respect women. But again, we have individuals who choose not to do that, and it should be a zero tolerance. I don't even know what stronger term I can use beyond zero, but it's definitely a zero tolerance with that. And again, I don't think it's just Hollywood. I don't think it's just politics. I think in general, some men choose not to respect women, and it must stop. And again, men like me have to stand up, and I'm a part of doing that.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. So since we're talking about Springfield, I kind of want to talk about the budget a little bit.
For sure, yeah.
Because that recently passed.
Yeah.
For the first time in more than 2 years, we have
Yeah.
one. So everything is good in Illinois now, right? Because we have a budget? Because a lot of the things that we heard was that because the budget wasn't in place, we had all these financial woes.
For sure,
But now
yeah.
that the budget is in place, is everything all good? Or have we been fixed?
Yeah, but I don't know that everything is perfect. You know, if you don't pay your cable bill for 2 years and you start back paying it, you're still behind. So, and let's extrapolate that out to billions of dollars. So, the governor's unwillingness to negotiate, unwillingness to compromise with the Democrats, his urgency to cut programs that help people in my community. And again, I will never stand for directly hurting my community, cutting programs and leaving folks stranded, folks in nursing homes, folks with child care. So we stood strong and we refused to cut many of those programs. And we did eventually pass the budget. But the problem with not passing the budget, again, just like not paying any bill, is that you do create debt. So the governor's obstruction, the governor's understanding of not passing the budget created hundreds of millions of in some cases billions of dollars. And right now, our comptroller Susan Mendoza has a backlog of bills which we are going to push through, which we are going to address in a fiscally sound manner. But yes, we did create a lot of debt. And I think that we have to push through that debt like other states, but under no circumstances should we leave people out hanging out to dry. And I think that's what our pushback with the governor was about. And again, we did pass the budget, so moving forward, I do foresee us continuing to pass budgets. We pass a budget annually. Next year, we'll pass a budget, and we won't let the governor stand in the way of doing that. And hopefully, with some civic engagement, maybe we'll get some new leadership in the future.
Okay, okay. Which would you say civic engagement and new leadership? Are you talking about the upcoming election?
For sure, yeah. I was talking to friends of mine about voting. I encourage everybody to vote and everybody to advocate and be civically involved. Everybody listening to the show has a state representative, has an alderman, has some type of elected official. You should always be engaged. Should always talk to the individual. Let them know how you feel. No matter what you care about. If you care about one issue, I want to know about that one issue. And whatever elected official you have, they should know about your issue. And again, you should fight for that issue, and they should be open and receptive to your input. I'm your representative,
You are.
and when you call me, I'm
You do, you
try
do.
to respond. And
You
anybody,
do.
when you reach out to me, because I work for you.
Okay, and can I ask you a question as my representative?
Please, yeah.
Did you vote yes on this budget, or how did you vote on the budget?
Oh, I definitely supported the budget. What the budget included was funding all the essential programs to help folks, and I think that's critical. That budget had funding for child care. We need more funding for child care because the governor cut funding for child care. That budget funded our schools, which is critical. And that budget led to a very important bill, Senate Bill 1947, which changed the way in which we fund education. Evidence-based model. We changed our funding model in the state of Illinois to send more dollars to districts in need, to send more dollars to Chicago, South and West Side of Chicago, to send more dollars to Markham, Rockford, East St. Louis, Danville, the places in which need it, because it costs to educate, and we want our kids to have a quality education. So also the budget did include an income tax increase or restoration. So our income tax was 5%, but now it's 4.95%. So a small percentage, but again, restored programs, restored education funding, and and that was the budget that we supported. So I did support that.
Okay. So again, we are here live. You can give us a call. The number's at the bottom of the screen. If you are too shy to call into a television program, we understand. I'm going to put Representative Evans' contact information on the screen.
Okay.
Again, you can reach him at his district office, 8539 South Cottage Grove. You can reach him by phone at 773-783-8492. You can email him at repevans33@gmail.com, or you can visit his website, staterepevans33.com. Now, there's actually another really cool way people can reach you.
Well, let's use it. Yeah.
And you guys are not going to believe this. Representative Evans has a web series.
Yeah.
What's the name of the series?
Running with the Rep.
Running with the Rep. And we're going to take a peek at this now to see the full thing. You have to visit his channel, but we're going to take a peek now. Okay, everyone ready?
Cool.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, what's going on, Marcus? It's been a while since I seen you, man.
It has. So you know what we got to do? Let's get running.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there because I don't want to give too much away. If you want to see the web series, then you have to visit Representative Evans' website, which I have pulled up here for everyone to see. That's staterepevans33.com.
Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well.
You're everywhere, aren't you?
Yeah, well,
On all the socials.
You got to use the tools. People should be able to reach their elected officials to advocate. Again, if you don't know anything, if you don't take anything for what I'm saying, I want people to be involved. President Obama right now is having civic meetings about being involved. There's no way that the people should trust Marcus Evans. I represent over 110,000 people. They should just trust me and my thoughts. Give me your ideas, thoughts. If we want to do this collectively, elected official is not like a plumber. You don't hire them and get out of the way. Elected official is like an attorney. It's a participatory process. I represent you, so let's push together. And those folks who advocate and get involved civically have a larger voice. So I want to hear the voice of all the people in my community because I want to do a great job.
Okay. Excellent. So, I guess because we are winding down here, I just want to wrap by asking you, how did you come up with the idea to do a series? And are you the only legislator who has a web series?
I think when it comes down to, everybody is not interested in reading all the particulars of politics. That's my job, and people like us that are really engaged in the details. People just want to kind of get an update on what's going on. So I want people to feel comfortable. Politics is not just for political types. Politics is for anybody. Politics affects everybody, so anybody can get involved at any particular level in which you want to get involved. So running with the Rep, kind of bring folks in. It's a it's kind of a jovial feel, but I'm a very serious person. But I want to bring you in so you can get some details. If you want to take a deeper dive, visit my website or again contact me because the issues are serious. But sometimes you want to have a great time and just talk about them in a more jovial manner.
Okay, excellent. So thank you so much for that. I just got the wrap from our amazing phone tech, Mike. Thank you so much, Mike,
Thank you,
for
Mike.
manning the phones this evening. I'd like to thank each of you for watching. I certainly want to thank everyone who called. Political Forum airs every Wednesday on CAN-TV, Channel 21 at 7 p.m. Please join us next week for another riveting discussion with a local legislator. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.